New moon in Leo, and it's moon in me, and I have jumped in with this new moon in Leo to bring in your awareness to a weekly state of awareness to how you really feeling. So let's jump in. So first of all, new moons give you that fabulous opportunity to plant new seeds. But with this lineup of celestial and cosmic planets, okay, where there is a lineup, right? And what that lineup in the sky looks like is, what it will feel like is that things are flowing. Like 1, 2, 3, it just flows. It's like a river is flowing. So this is your guideline to kind of teach you and raise your awareness to how you're feeling. And so what I want to do is I want to start connecting the dots and crossing those T's so that you not only understanding what moon in me is about, but you're starting to understand what I'm writing, okay? And also what is being channeled for your truth and wisdom to come through. So yes, it's a new moon in Leo, but we're still in the month of Cancer. So it brings in this attention, okay, we've got a new moon that has an I am thread, which I talk about with moon in me and your moon in me notebook, all right, that we're all a part of, that it's all about your feelings, okay? So there's a very big start off, there's a very big beginning. It's like a new era has begun here at an end of a cycle in your house of Cancer. So these two very specific weeks are so grand and so important, okay, that they are even written in your sacred books, right, with regards to the light of the Creator, the light of miracles, the light of the light of the kingdom, right? The light of the Shekinah, the light of your own temple, your house. And that's pretty much what Cancer is. It's holding, your family, your values, what's important to you, what it is that you love. So this moon, this new moon in Leo is coming to say, well, there's a new beginning here, so that these old feelings that have been in the house of your relationships, okay, and the house of your relationships meaning the house with your siblings, your partners, your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister, whatever relationship is there, okay, and turn it into, okay, the quality and value of friendship, right? So it's like you're tying the knot. You're looking at, are your values the same? What is it that you want the same? Are the things important for you, right? So what this moon does now is, because there's such an important lineup with the planets, okay, and a big one is with regards to Neptune and Venus, and especially Uranus, which is the teacher, okay, is saying to you, all right, these old feelings that no longer are in place of your home, okay, you have to surrender them so that you can have a real chance at this new beginning. And that's pretty much what's going on here if we were going to keep it simple. So the best way that I can share this with you is, okay, where are you with what's going on in your life? Okay, can you feel the intensity, and what are you feeling? Are you still getting triggered by old patterns? Because if you are, you have to kind of cross over the bridge. You kind of have to kind of jump the rope, right? You kind of have to go, okay, have I dealt with this emotional intensity?
Okay, I'm going to ask you, if you're getting triggered by the old triggers, but the individual is still doing the same old stuff, who's old and who's new?
Okay, so that was a great question from
Dana
Henry. Okay, so you've got to listen to the pattern of the trigger. So let's go and answer.
But what if it's not your pattern?
It's still a pattern. Okay, so
who's old and who's new?
There's no old and new, because you're sitting in the house of Cancer, which is your feelings, all right, and you're sitting in the new moon that's in Leo. This is an opportunity now for you to go create things in a new moon while still riding the old wave of Cancer.
And the person is still doing the old stuff repeatedly.
You can't control the people, okay? But what you can control, okay, is how you feel about the people.
Can't they just go away?
They go away by you raising your internal vibrational frequency, by raising your tuning fork, your connector, to a vibrational setting that now discharges the trigger. It discharges the need. It discharges the conflict. So we've all gone through this through experience. There were some things in your life that emotionally you got so revved up, okay, and then afterwards you just go, you know what, I just don't get revved up with that anymore. It's so passé. It's done its time. So let's go back to you, Dana. If that person is still doing the trigger, first of all, we're going to go, okay, who's the person? Is the person on a new thread?
You want me to tell you? Because I will.
Is the person coming in? No. Is the person coming in and repeating a pattern? And is the person testing you, or you being tested by the pattern that exists there? It can be a combination of a lot of different things, right? But that's a great question, by the way, because patterns and habits that you find yourself, you are voicing or doing without you having a control factor over you. It means that there is an embedded segment, okay, of either saboteur or a belief system that is what it is. And it all goes down to your belief systems. And this is why I love Moon and Me, because the moon, okay, is now seriously lit up by the darkness, right? And the darkness is just very active energy.
So
okay.
I have a question, because you have people out there going, how many times do you have to let somebody show you who they truly are? Because there's a lot of people, and they keep. How many times does somebody keep letting somebody show you who they are and where they are?
So people show you who they are by your capacity to be tuned in and focused to them. So you bring on a big one that I'm going to invoke here, and I'm going to ask that people listen to it, because there's this, in other times of the calendar year and the zodiac calendar, you can get away with it, right? But there's 3 months, okay, out of the 12 chosen zodiac constellation signs that have access to more light. And that is Capricorn, the second one is Cancer, and the third one, okay, is Leo. So it's the house of Capricorn, it's the house of Cancer, and the house of Leo. If you go look at how this divine integration is so intelligent, right? It's been scripted by the hands of angels and guided by the voice of God, for say, right? Because there was a full moon in Capricorn, okay, in Cancer. And now there's a new moon that loops. So you've got these bridges, okay, that you can catapult to, all right, between Capricorn, Cancer, and Leo. And that all happen in the house of Cancer, which is in July. All of them. Capricorn shows up as a full moon, all right, and Leo shows up at the end with a new moon. So there you are, squeezed like a pimple. You squeezed right now. That's why it's so intense. And there's so many scriptures. There's so many, like your tree of knowledge, your Kabbalah, your Kabbal, your Old Testaments, all back to Abraham. It's all written in the I am presence, right? And even beyond that, if you go into the old Buddhist and Tibetan monks, okay, there's this presence of divine sacred knowing, okay, when two forces are being brought together, okay, to be amplified, okay, to crack open so that more light can come in, all right, so that more of the darkness is dispersed, so that these are great months to embrace those triggers and to embrace those patterns and to embrace those shadows and those darkness, because they can't get to you. You have a destiny line. Okay? They can't crack you down. You, on the other hand, can open up your heart and forgive yourself more by giving yourself that opportunity for more light to come in. These are the 3 months that bring in this awareness so that you can master. So if you go to Capricorn, Capricorn is all about mastering. Okay? It's about you having the ability to master. So if we go simplify this moon in me, in this new moon in Leo, it's literally, if we go look at the tagline, everything has a tagline right now, right? It's telling you, master your emotional self, so that you don't get caught up in the cancers of other people's thoughts and beliefs and habits and addictions and all of those things.
Wow, that's awesome.
Master.
It's a Cancer.
Master that, but it's in the house of Cancer. Cancer's the crab.
And that's what they are. They're a
Right,
Cancer.
it's just the crab, and it moves from left to right, center, It's the house of, your feelings. It's the house of how you feel about things. It's how you feel about all of it is so, so, so important, right? It's how you feel about it. And so these feelings are being subdued, by... This is so grand and so opportune, because there's this new reality and this new life that is speeding up, right? And there's agreements in place, spiritual agreements in place we've got to be spiritual, because that's what is. Everything is spiritual. But these emotional beings you can get mad with ChatGPT, and you can get mad with AI, and guess what's going to happen? Nothing. Because there's no emotion there. What makes us different and makes us valuable and makes us important to listen to is how we feel about people, things, places, our desires, who we are being. It's not what you know anymore. The difference between the future and where you are is how you feel. There's no AI there, that can feel. That's your value. So more and more and more people are listening to what's out there and what's this and your feelings, and honor those feelings, trust those feelings, but then put them in the boxes that they are, not what you think they are, because that's just another thought process. If people think they're unworthy and they don't deserve money, they can scream out every loud affirmation, and they can shout out and write out how rich they are, but they will never feel it. And if you don't feel it, it's never true. You might acquire the wealth, but you'll never feel it. So you'll always be fearful of losing it or redirecting it, or it being taken from you, or whatever, because that's what these emotions do. That's why Moon in Me, for me, is one of the most incredible platforms and threads, of divine channeled information, wisdom that pulsates through you, so that you wake up, because these waves are coming in every month with different influences by the different zodiacs that you are part of every month, and by the part of where they lined up. So right now, Dana's asked a great, great question. This is the time that old patterns, old beliefs, triggers, emotional distortions, trauma, all this thing will resurface if what? You have elevated your thinking, if you have elevated an aspect of you, if you have taken your relationship to the next space, or you're about to climb up and you're about to evolve, it's going to come. It's like a crab. A crab's going to pull down, because that's what it does. Every sign has the positive aspect of it, and then it also has the contrast aspect of it, which people talk about, the shadow side or the contrast side of that sign. We are all born into the signs by what? By what? We choose that sign because of the general aspects of it. So the shadow aspect of that emotional thing, of somebody not being able to answer Dana's question, somebody not being able to release that pattern, Okay, it's the shadow aspect of either a fear or a desire or a need that hasn't been brought back into balance. So
or
it's
an addiction.
Or an addiction. You know, there's all addictions are passive, okay, ignited pulses, all right, that you find yourself this way when in truth your soul purpose is more this way. But until you know that or you understand that, you're going to get more and more, further and further and further away from that until something, boom, happens to you and you get brought back into alignment.
How many times does a person have to get boomed?
As many times as it takes to shake that up.
Even when they're old, they got to keep doing it.
Some people die, and only when they
never
die.
do it.
Some people die, and when they die, they go into their review. Okay, they go into their review and they see, oh my goodness, I was this close. I did that. I chose that versus that. I was so there. All I needed to do was just breathe in or make a different choice. And when you see in your review, that is also when you choose your next life, because you say, I can do this better. I was so close. But because you've got to go redo it again, you get
more challenged, or is that
no,
harder?
you challenge yourself, because the only one judging you is you. God has already given you everything. So in your review, you have this knowing, I can do better for myself. I can do better for others. I can do better for love, and I can do better for the spiritual essence of humankind. I can do better. And it's all at different levels. Okay, not everybody has that. Okay? But you ask the question, when does somebody get it? Some people are so trapped in the noise and the distractions, and there's a lot of that right now. And there's even more so because there are many people being called into a soul correction. And when I talk about a soul correction, I'm talking about your GPS has no emotion to where you need to go, but it's only going to take you where you're commanded to go. There's a very big difference between you commanding where you need to go and versus surrendering and allowing your higher self to guide you to this inner knowing of this eternal life, because what you want for yourself is a fraction of what God is ready to give to you. You know, that's just a big one right there. So, great question.
I watch you, how you pour, no matter what level a person's in, you, without hesitation, will go to the goodness, and go to the goodness, and go to the goodness.
Yeah,
I've watched it for 16 years, and I've watched you work on, and people, is it just there that, is it a worthiness thing that you just?
No, it's a knowing. Because
if you know so much, then why would you keep doing things that are self-destructive?
Well, then it's not self-destructive. What you're talking about is a detour I took, all right, that has many benefits with things that I value. So what she's talking about is, but I also know there's a time that comes to crisscross roads. This is that crisscross road. You'll continue to be pouring into the people, but in a different way now, where it's no longer destructive, because the direction turns. Sooner or later, your destiny line has to cross over again. You have to know that you can't avoid your destiny. You can deny your destiny, you can choose not to go there, you can make those choices, but your destiny is yours and no one can take that away from you. So sooner or later, I just had to wait for that cosmic lineup, and that's what that cosmic lineup is now.
Yeah, it's doing that for you. But
it's doing it for everybody.
Even in a shadow world?
Even in the shadow world, it crisscrosses so that you learn from the lesson. Unfortunately, we are creatures of habit, right? So when everything's running smoothly, we tend to forget to evolve and grow and choose for a higher good. It's when we get burnt again and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, why did I do that? Then you start thinking, well, why did I do that? What was the thought process that I was in? What triggered that? And then you start having a different desire, because the contrast continues to come to you because you are on that side of the road. Law of attraction is the greatest teacher of all, because if you're there, that's what you're participating in. Until you're not. And that's how simple it is. There's no like, ooh, magical space. The magical space is you being the alchemist of taking yourself from feeling extremely angry and either having a great workout in shouting that out, but make sure that you do it in 17 seconds. Okay, so why? Because 18 seconds, you're already creating something new that's going to attract only more of what you're saying.
So if somebody knows this, like I do with working with you, and I know others have listened, they know the 18-second theory,
right?
And yet there they are doing it again.
So it's patterns. Okay, so it's a pattern of, and sometimes it could be unconscious segments of behavior that are coming up to be released. So that's a great thing. So we look at new moons as being opportunities, okay, to plant seeds to grow, right? Plant your seed. What is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? Well, if you're on this side, okay, you're going to be in the shadow of something. If you're on this side, okay, you're going to have certain aspects to you. But if you move to this side here, okay, it might not feel good. Then you're going to go, all right, I'm going to go back here, right? And I'm just trying to give you an example because it's the way you think, it's the way you feel, and it's the way you act, okay? And right now, as I'm doing this, I can feel the sun is hitting me in different ways. So you're going to see me in different ways by the way you thinking, by the way you feeling, and by the way you acting. So what I'm saying and doing might not even be relatable because I'm saying something, but you are focused on how the sun is hitting me. And then it's a reflection of the old. This is so powerful. This is what I was talking about. Let's get this into a weekly base so that you absolutely know who you are being through these cycles. And that's what Moon and Me is all about. Okay, so that you know. Knowing you is so, so, so important. Okay, this cycle here is so important because the moon is literally full. Okay, there's no slither. The slither is the light, the rest is the darkness, but it's full of the sun. It's over. It's been impacted there. Okay, it's actually a crazier time in new moons than full moons. It's just everybody's got the myth and the story of, you know, the werewolves coming out. Oh, there's the wolf. No, there's no wolf howling here. The wolf is biting you in new moons. So if you don't put your attention on the slither of light, if you don't put your attention on what you want, you're going to be dealing with what you don't want. So you either redirect your focus to what you want and focus and feed that energy and that focus, or you are reacting, okay, to what you don't want because there's so much of it. And it starts getting better and until it doesn't anymore because it's saturated. All right, and then you've got to change your modus operandus. Okay, you've got to change the way you think. You've got to change what you believe in. And then you've got to think, well, if I'm evolving like this, okay, and every full moon is up here to release something, you'll get to a point that you've got to go deep, deep within you and say, this might be subconscious. I'm not even aware that I'm doing this. Just like you're not aware are you driving, just like you're not aware are you speak to your mother or your father, just like you're not aware are you watering the plants, just all those things. You just all these things, they are called life, right? So it's you being able to attune yourself. Okay, it's you having the ability to tune into what is important, all right, and why it is important for you. And so in this moon cycle, you've got to look about, okay, so for us to be kinder, we have to be better friends. And I speak about this in Moon and Me. There's a big thing with, tying the knot of friendship. You've got to pay attention to the circles that you're in. You've got to pay attention to, what type of friends you've got. You've got to pay attention to what quality of friendships you've got. But the most important thing is you. Are you being a good friend to yourself? And that now opens up, okay, the the new moon in Leo calls you forward. There's a calling, because there's an incredible lineup between Uranus and Venus and Gemini. Okay? And the Gemini factor is also opening up the duality of that, right? So it's saying, oh, this is great. So this year is like, this is the new moon. What are you going to put in there? Are you going to put in these incredible sparks of opportunity to open up new ideas, to open up, what are you planting in? Because you've got a complete clean slate here, okay? But it's up to you, because if you're still triggered by the past impact of others, that's going to be thrown in there too. And then you've got to deal with it at a bigger scale in this new cycle.
But it's the past impact of others who are doing it presently. They're not doing the past, they're still doing the past presently.
And they're going to continue until you stop looking at it and jumping onto another thread.
But if you're not looking at it, it's just there.
And it's going to continue to be there until you elevate your frequency and vibration until they no longer can get there.
You just don't connect with them at all anymore.
You don't connect with it from a place of emotional dispersity. Okay. There's so many ways I can go with this, but in bringing up, so let's deal it with a friend. Okay, if that relationship, if you're not being a friend to yourself, okay, by what you're doing, and it's very tricky, very, 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 very tricky. Okay, and the reason why is because the sun is so impactful. All right, you are the creator of your life. So, Dana, that's such a great question, but it has so many symbolic meanings, because if I stay here long enough without any filters, that sun eventually is going to burn me. All right, and that's the sun in Leo. Okay, so if the friendship is only based from an ego point of view, from a selfish point of view, that it's only focused on themselves and no gain for anything else of other agreements in place, it's going to burn. Okay, if the sun is then protected and shielded with boundaries to support the energy of the house, then it's going to create, and it's just like everything else. Okay, these 2 weeks here are paramount, okay, because there's so much intelligence and history to these 2 weeks here. Okay, it's actually 21 days that runs from the house of Cancer to the house of Leo, and they're sacred because it's the light of the Creator, it's the light of God, it's the light of the divine presence, okay, to support you. Okay, and so you've got to understand that you're going to be tested at these times, okay, to allow more love, more compassion, more understanding into you as you being your own friend. If you're in a relationship and you feel that this relationship doesn't serve you, then love that relationship and move on. Okay, and it goes with everything. But if you're going to move on from a place of victim, or you're going to move on from a place of destruction, or all of that, or you're going to be the one that is denying yourself, well, then there's more of that coming in, because the sun is still in Leo and you are creating the world in which you are responding or reacting to. I can go on for days. So, see you next week. It's Moon and me. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Pay attention to what's going on. Are you being a friend to yourself and then to others? Okay, the lineup is undeniable, and it is a power opportunity for you to plant and reflect what is going to bring value to your life, and where are you going to be in the space. So what I would do, I would say, as you end this, I'm the creator of my life, and I'm creating the things that fulfill me and make me happy, and I'm being guided to do so. And so it is.
Thank you.